This is Three Black Guys with a Mic, episode 1.
First of all, let me tell you something. Lamonte is just full of shit.
Sometimes my mama said, when you don't have nothing nice to say, you should be quiet.
People say that Stephen A. is a coon. You agree with that? Everybody got quiet on that one? Okay.
Are you drinking, Maynard?
I don't know.
Are you drinking?
I don't even understand how you could even put Common and Bob Marley and Marvin Gaye. And even Marvin Gaye.
I'm saying who's on your iPhone, iPad? Who's in your playlist right now that ain't saying this?
Maynard, I know you a little bit on the right. And Lamont, I know you got that country club lifestyle. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is Three Black Guys with a Mic. This is going to be a podcast with three black guys and our opinion on fashion, politics, race, religion, and anything else you can think of. Now, my friends, they got a lot of noise in the background. I don't know why, but they got a lot of noise in the background. I want to introduce, Lamonte Hayes, as well as Maynard Scales. My name is Spud. Gentlemen, thank you so very much for taking this time. Welcome. Tell everybody what we're doing on this fantastic podcast and how this whole idea... Maynard, tell everybody how this idea came about.
Honestly, first of all, let me tell you something. Lamonte is just full of shit. He talks shit all the time, and it's always hilarious.
Why you going in on my man already? Why you going in on my man already?
My man Lamonte y'all my people. He's full of shit, and talking shit with Lamonte is so much fun, but he always makes me think. And then me and Lamonte, we were like, are we wasting time talking shit and not recording this? And so, we got a hype voice and to bring it all together. This is the official guide to the B-Boy's opinion on everything.
So, let's kind of go back and kind of, let people know, how we all got together. I mean, we've known each other for a very long time. I moved to Detroit in 1998. Lamonte is from Detroit. Maynard, you worked in Detroit, for a very long time. And this is kind of how, our relationship began, just being in Detroit. Lamonte now lives in New York. I still live in Detroit. Maynard, lives in, VA. So we've continued on our friendship, for a very long time. But we always used to have these deep conversations about, deep sessions, all the time. And so I'm glad now that we have finally decided, to let the world really hear, what we got to say. Lamonte, I know you didn't get the opportunity to chime in yet because Maynard kind of cut you off, but go ahead and introduce yourself and let everybody know, your thoughts on this podcast, my brother.
Well, first, let me just try to defend myself because I think this whole thing is going to turn into, a left versus right. But as Spud said, I am Lamonte Hayes. In my former life, they used to call me Big Willie on the street. I've been in the music business for about maybe a little bit over 20 years now. Like Spud said, originally from Detroit, but relocated to the Northeast. And I just think what's very, very important is that three black guys, we just need our opinions are important as well, in our age perspective, just the way that we look at things. Sometimes we're a little bit overlooked. Everything is always focused on the younger generation, the millennials, to this and to that. But you know what? We have an opinion and we have a voice.
True.
Let's start the show off today with, the election, of course. Today is, November, we're in, and the election was last week, and we got a new, president-elect Donald Trump. The world is in an uproar. We don't know what happened. Let's start with what happened. Nobody thought that Donald Trump was going to be the president of the United States. Everybody took him for granted. So what happened? Why isn't Hillary Clinton our president at this moment?
Hillary Clinton isn't the president because she didn't give people enough to make her president. I mean, let's be honest. Everybody talked about how much she was going to do as far as the electoral votes, et cetera. And I mean, she didn't have what Barack had. She doesn't have that quintessential sexiness. From a marketing standpoint, she was boring. We know that Saturday Night Live had clowned her about being, the leader of the pantsuit nation and being real safe and real cool and not trying to upset anything. And Donald Trump was a disruptor. He disrupted it all. He said, forget it. I'm gonna kick the door in. I'm going to call your mom names. I'm going to throw your parents out of the country.
Yo,
he got a lot of attention.
Listen, Donald Trump bought, Bill Clinton's old chicks to the debate. Now, if that ain't gangster, there ain't nothing more gangster in the world than you saying, listen, I'm bringing your old chicks to the dang old election. It ain't nothing you can do. I'm gonna put them in the front row.
Front row, homie.
So listen, wait. So listen, let me be the first to say that I'm still trying to process. Because it's been a few days, but I really haven't processed Donald Trump actually being the president of the United States. And again, I think a lot of people who voted for him, I don't think they really understand what they did. And I made a call to a very good friend of mine, and he'll remain nameless, but he's actually in the Barack Obama current administration. And I had to ask him, like, what the fuck does this mean? Like, I don't understand. And what he said to me was a very interesting perspective that is kind of swirling around 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue right now, is that what Donald Trump was able to do, he was able to deliver a message that people wanted to hear. He said, forget the messenger. He said people went way beyond his buffoonery, his coonery, even though he's a non-African-American male. We try to put that on us. But he did some really clown stuff. But people look past that because of his message. Even just this morning, I was watching a show where the people in West Virginia, where he carried the whole entire state, said, listen, this man, he lied to us. He told us he's going to bring coal back. We know that. We know that he can't do it, but we have to try something because Hillary didn't even pay us any attention. So again, it's not the messenger, it's the message. And that's why, and I hate to say this, there are a lot of people who have no idea what they did, because I'll take it a step further. Donald knows nothing of what he's doing. The problem is the real president is that guy from Indiana, okay?
Yeah, no doubt.
And what he's going to do and what he's currently doing, as he just bumped Christie from being the transition team head. So he's positioning himself and he's telling you that he's going to be running this show. So that is the scariest part of all of this, that most people have no idea who he is, his ideology, his history, what he's done in India, in that particular state, and what's getting ready to happen over the next 4 years. No idea.
Why was it? Why was he Teflon though? The tapes came out. The Access Hollywood came out. The woman on the plane said, he was, going up my dress, and because she wasn't like, oh, I didn't have a problem with him touching on my titties. I had a problem when he started going up my skirt. Then I had a problem. In the beginning, she was all right.
I blame Mona Scott Young. Maynard,
now,
it's Mona's fault.
Why is it Mona's fault? Mona's over there trying to get her love and hip hop money, man.
I hear you, but we have been conditioned, is from, and not in the African American community, because the numbers show that there are more non-African Americans than African Americans that watch that type of television. We have just been just so programmed to think that this is TV, that this is fucking make-believe, and people don't understand that this is real. So you got this guy who's relatable, even from the local elections. Unfortunately, people are elected based off of name recognition and who they think they might like. So they're looking at this guy, and we still have to remember the larger percentage of this country is non-African American people. So those people are able to relate to him. He's cool. He's nice. He has a little money. He has a wife that's naked. You know what I mean? That he's out here in the streets. He's popping off. So he's like, he's like the cool little thing that's going to bring coal back to West Virginia. But
and he ain't going to do none of that.
One thing is, I heard somebody say this. The one thing Donald is known for is lying. He's lied his whole life. So if you think he's going to stop lying now, okay, you just watch.
Well, I think the thing is, if you ask me, it comes down to something. Hillary Clinton didn't do enough to get the vote. And there should be no surprise. I don't know why anybody's surprised. And I'm going to say something. It takes a while to do this
math. Here goes his right stuff, Lamont. He going to the right.
Here you go.
No.
Here we go.
This is real talk. Every when I was in high school, every Saturday we played football. Every Monday we watched tape. And we said, what did we do right? What did we do wrong? Barack won in 2008. In 2010, he lost the House. Did we correct that? We didn't correct that. We didn't fix that. We didn't get the House back. In 2010, we also lost to governor mansions around the country. And in 2014, we lost the Senate. The only three people who run in statewide elections are the governor, senators, and the president. So if the game tape tells you 2009, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, you've been losing, slowly but surely you've been losing, and you haven't corrected it, then why would you expect in 2016 you were going to win?
So now, but Maynard, here's what you're saying then, is that's not a Hillary Clinton problem. That's a Democratic National Convention problem. You're telling me that they fell asleep at the wheel of having the overall strategy. So you can't put that on Hillary.
Well, I mean, I will put on, I agree with you. I will put on, you're right. It's a team problem. We had the coach that is the DNC, the Democratic National Convention, and we had a quarterback that is Hillary. The play calling got fucked up, and the owner is Barack, and we didn't make the changes on the field that we needed to make to win.
Let me ask you this. I mean, in regards to to your point though, Maynard, and I mean, how can you have all of these people going out and campaigning from you? Katy Perry, Beyonce, Jay-Z, Bon Jovi, I mean, you got the world. I mean, Miley Cyrus, those people alone, probably make up, half of the world in regards to, influence. And people still didn't come out. What I was telling somebody the other day, I was like, people were saying, well, dang, I don't understand why or how people wasn't messing with Hillary, even though they was messing with Barack. And I'm like, yo, it's cool. Barack is my man, but I don't fuck with your girl like that. You cool, but I don't mess with you like that.
Think about what you're saying, though, right? So Barack killed it in 2008. He killed it. But did anybody pay attention to the fact that although he won in 12, he got 5 million fewer voters than 2008? So we didn't do enough. Now, the other thing is adding Katy Perry, Beyonce, Jay-Z. That's Katy Perry, that's Beyonce, that's Jay-Z. Bitch, that ain't Hillary Clinton. That's not you.
Yeah, but they don't got enough influence.
Hold on, no.
Hov ain't got enough influence for me to go to the polls.
It's not.
Well, here's the deal, and I think as I'm getting older and being a little bit more educated, when I first heard that Beyonce and Jay, let's not say Beyonce, but it was Jay-Z was going to be in Ohio. The first thing I hate to say that came to my mind is, oh, wow, they got a free show, but I had to pay $150 to go see him at Yankee Stadium. Unfortunately, I did not equate artist affiliation with vote, with candidate. You know what I mean? Now, I don't know if that's everybody else because, again, at 46 years old, I could be in a different demo. But what I will say, though, is that, maybe it wasn't done strategically enough for those people to be in certain places because, again, I don't know if the little young high schooler in West Virginia in Charleston who Pappy is on welfare because they can't get nobody to buy no coal if they give a damn that if Beyonce and Jay gonna be in Cleveland.
You ain't gonna you're not gonna let the coal. You're not letting the coal go away.
I'm not letting that coal go.
You want some? It must be diamond season for you. You must be up. You must be up for a new diamond soon. Wife might be up for a new diamond.
Yeah. Let's be honest though. West Virginia was never gonna be Hillary. But she blew it. She missed layups. Pennsylvania is a layup. Michigan is a layup.
Wisconsin layup.
Wisconsin is a layup, and she missed them layups. So you got to recognize that happened. But the other thing is, and Jay said it, you can try to change who you are, but that's just the top layer. Yo, you can't come on. That's like me going on stage with Garth Brooks and Tim McGraw and be like, I'm one of you. Yo, you not. I mean, I accept you for who you are, but when you pulled out
Beyonce came out of the CMAs. Beyonce came out of the CMAs, and they gave her love.
And they slaughtered her for it. Go back and look at what they said after the CMAs. They were like, "Who is this trick?" I mean, you got one damn country song, and there's Billy Bob or some guy who got a whole album, and he don't get on stage. So that country. She came on the CMAs, and that was our big TV thing. But the country music people, they're not saying all of a sudden I'm gonna go out and get that Lemonade album.
So Maynard, so let me ask you, do you think Beyonce went to the CMAs and said, please let me on? Do you think that somebody called Parkwood Entertainment, whatever the hell they're coming, Beyonce was asked to do that. The people at the CMAs are all about ratings. If they knew that they were going to get conversations, clicks, people to tune in, if they knew that they had some sort of diversity to that actual program, and they knew Beyonce was safe enough, because they didn't call Remy Ma, they didn't call Young M.A. You feel what I'm saying? Talk about,
they ain't called Nicki Minaj. They ain't called Nicki Minaj.
They called, and with all due respect, you know, because I'm part of the Beehive. I'm masculine enough to talk that talk. Like if somebody want a problem with me, I'm down with Beyonce. But
hey,
to
man,
me,
I'm with you on the Beyonce. I love Beyonce.
Yeah. You cannot front. Not only is Beyonce beautiful, you know, she created this wonderful life. She's a life with her daughter. She married to one of my hip hop heroes. She out here, she getting this bread. You know what I mean? So it's like, what can she do wrong, or what did she do wrong because they called her to be a part of that performance? And those who don't like it, they don't understand what it is to be able to sell advertisement to keep those kind of shows on TV.
I get all of that. I understand all of that. I don't have a problem with any of it. I don't have a problem with Beyonce going on. I don't have a problem with Beyonce going on the Reggae Hip Hop Awards. I don't have a problem with Beyonce going on any award show. She's a pop artist, and that's great. Right. All I'm saying is that the constituency of the Country Music Awards, the people who are country music fans, did not appreciate it, and the CMA people have got to go back and rethink that and say, hey, was that a plus? Was that a net positive or a net negative? I don't have the answer. I don't know, and maybe they did do a great job with ratings that year, but did they lose credibility with their core audience? And that always happens. That happens with every artist. When that one artist tries to change his music and he ain't going to do what you know him to do, when you get his next album, you're like, eh. And the CMAs is the same thing. It's an album. They put out 12 artists on the stage that night, and they say, this is our CMA Awards program. And the next year, when they come up again, are there going to be people who are going to say, you know, y'all, you kind of shitted on us last year with that Beyonce thing. We don't like y'all that much no more. I don't have a problem with Beyonce.
No, I mean, nobody has a problem with Beyonce, and nobody has a problem with the VMAs. And I think that you're going to have core people that's going to protest it, and I think that you have people who thought that it was a good look as well. You know, let's segue into the protesting part. You know, is people in New York, Atlanta, Miami, Detroit, so around the world, people are protesting. And I get it that people are in outrage. People are disappointed that, Donald Trump is the president-elect, and, we lost. I mean, at the end of the day, we lost. For whatever, or however it happened, we lost. Is there a benefit to the protesting that's happening right now? I don't see benefits to protesting because I'm just a realist in the situation. I think we protest. Yeah, we get it out of our system. And then after that, nothing happens. Nothing happens after that. So, what do you think? Is there a benefit to the protesting, or is it just like, oh, okay, yeah, we're just getting more media attention and that's just that?
So, Spud, let me ask you this, because I want to make sure we're clear. When you say we lost, I am a part of that we. I'm assuming that you're a part of that we, but I need to know, is my other co-host, is he a part of that we?
I'm a lifelong Democrat. I'm a lifelong, but I'm gonna say this: I don't believe in any sacred cows.
Well, you was one of those. You ain't got it. It's okay, Cool G. If you were a closet Donald Trump supporter, you can come out and tell us now. If you was closet, it's okay. It's no problem. There was a lot of people out there who were scared to say that they was, going for Donald Trump.
Oh, right. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So let me answer your question, because even to piggyback on that, I'll be very clear. I was in a meeting the other night with a very prominent African-American doctor in the Northeast, right, in my area where I live. And we were just having this conversation. And I told him how I was in shock, like I've told everyone. And he said, I said, how do you feel about it? And he said, Lamar, you don't want to know how I feel. I said, what do you mean? He said, because I voted for Donald Trump. And then you went with Ben Carson?
No.
No comment. No comment. No
No
comment.
comment. That's that country club life. That's that country club life.
Right?
No comment. But he went on to say, and he talked about the protest, and he talked about how he understands how people feel, and as long as they don't keep it, or it doesn't go into a violent space, that is nothing wrong with the protest. But like you just said, there were a lot of closet Donald Trump supporters in the African-American community. So when they said in the Latino, in the Asian space, that there were a lot of people that are really with him and his philosophy of, you're fired. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. But a lot of these young people who are out there protesting, what I also thought was interesting, I saw something online, whether it was real or not, where, some of those protesters are getting paid like $12 an hour. So some of those protesters may not be really protesters as we may think that they are. But at the same time, I think there are some genuine people that are out there. I don't really know if it's going to do anything because I don't think policy has changed in that manner.
Let me say this. I'm not sure, and I haven't seen it, but I don't believe anybody's being paid to really protest because there's no end game to that. We're going to spend money to pay you to protest an election that we can't overturn anyway. So, that there's no end game in that. Next, I'd say this. Protesting is good to get your voice heard, but we have to recognize that Donald Trump is the president, and that's pretty much the end of that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's been a lot of people online and social media, talking about December 19th and, hopefully, you can sign the petition, to get it changed, and I'm like, hey, listen, man, the man won. I mean, the man won. I just feel, I honestly got to, say this, and, I didn't support Donald Trump, but I feel bad for his family. Like, you can say what you want to about Melania. I mean, this lady's, hey, listen, man, this lady was getting manicures and pedicures and spa treatment. She ain't asked for all this drama, man. So to have all this go on, that's a lot going on right there.
Well, I mean, she asked for all that because she got with Donald Trump, and he is what he is. He is a media hound or whore, and she knew that. All she had to do was Google him 16 years ago. Google was around then. She would have known that he was that dude. But
well, if you Google her 16 years ago, you might pretty much come up with the same thing.
If you Google her, you find out she will break the internet. Because, I mean, I ain't, look, first of all, let me say this. I ain't mad at Donald Trump for Melania. I'm just let you know up front. I mean, I appreciate it. And I'm going to tell you another thing. I voted for Hillary. I'm a lifelong Democrat.
Yeah, you sound like you cleaning that up a little bit, homeboy.
Hold on. I voted for Hillary. I'm a lifelong Democrat. But that damn Ivanka Trump, I mean, I'm going to just let you know, Ivanka is a thing right there. That's a serious matter.
Yeah. I ain't even going to front of you. We're not trying to digress the conversation, but I do at the second that, Ivanka could have probably got my vote. No question about that.
Ivanka could have got my vote twice.
But with all due respect, she still has an issue mastering the English language. So
Melania or Ivanka?
Yeah. So I think first we got to, once we get past that, we got to figure out how do we address that space. Because again, and it's not a diss or it's whatever, but to what is considered to be the first lady of the United States of America, even with her clothes on, she does not fit the bill. And it has nothing to do with, her ethnic whatever, but it's like, she's a stripper, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's how she used to get down. So I don't know, does that, like I heard somebody else say this, or maybe it was on Saturday Night Live last night, is that, Donald Trump is 70 years old, who has no experience to be the president of the United States. Do you not understand that he probably couldn't get hired at Target?
Overqualified.
Or Sears? It just, no, they be like, you have no experience. Get out of here, dude. Go back over there and do what it is that you're doing. The same with her. And it's like, oh my God, who's going to teach her first lady school? You know what I mean? Who's going to take the time to explain that to this lady? It's going to be, it's a shit show, gentlemen. No matter how you cut it, it's going to be really, really shitty. Period.
Yeah, well, Jackie Kennedy didn't have no experience neither, but, she still had a good look.
I mean, let's be honest. Fortunately, the first lady passes no bills. So she can, buy some China. But the first lady got to be out grapes. There, I mean, if you look at, I mean, yeah, she got to buy some China, but she got to have some sort of voice. You got to have some sort of voice. Nancy Reagan, just don't say no. She's going to stop the internet bullying. She went to stop the bullying internet.
Let's move on to Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith, last week said that, every African American should vote Republican once in their lifetime. Agree or disagree? I mean, Maynard, we already know that you already, got your closet, Republican things going on. So, it's all good if you want to come out and say you voted Republican before, even though you say you're a lifelong Democrat.
I'm a lifelong Democrat. I've been rocking out since the first time I could vote.
Listen, when we get some T-shirts, that's going to be the first T-shirt we get. I'm a lifelong Democrat.
We, obviously we know this much. Prior to the Kennedy election, most African Americans, in fact, were Republican. And it was really Kennedy and LBJ that, LBJ passed the Civil Rights Act and the Housing Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act. And he said when he passed them, I'm going to lose the South for an entire generation. And previously, the Democratic Party were the Dixiecrats, who were essentially the Republicans of today. So I don't know if Stephen A. Smith is right, wrong, or whatever. I haven't seen a Republican candidate that makes me want to support him at the local, the state, or the federal level. That's all I got to say on that.
People say that, Stephen A. People say that Stephen A. is a coon. You agree with that? I like Stephen A. Smith. Everybody got quiet on that one, okay? Lamont, go ahead. Nobody want to address Stephen A. Smith, okay? No problem.
I think Stephen A. is entertaining. Thank God that he can bring up some points. Stephen A. Smith doesn't educate anybody in my household.
And I'll take it a step further. Is that I've also heard this analogy is that. If I needed to, go see a doctor to get a physical, I'm not going to call Stephen A. Smith. If I need to talk about, politics, things, I'm not calling him. Now, if I want to get some stats from 1976 on what was going on in the Philadelphia 76ers, or if I need to talk about, some sort of other algorithm, how we're going to get to the Super Bowl, then, yeah, I'm going to call Stephen A. Smith. But I think sometimes we look at the wrong individuals and give their opinion a little bit more weight than what it's really worth. And, quiet is kept. I have never voted, whether it's local or in a national space of the Republican. But I will say this. I was told from a financial perspective that the Republicans will take care of me a little bit better than the Democrats. So, maybe deep down inside, I've never went in the booth and pushed a button. But I get it. And I'll quote Dave Chappelle again, from last night. As he said, Barack, I just got this money. You telling me I got to give it all away? So if we're going to go the Republican route, they have a history of lower taxes and, tax breaks to what some people may call the rich. But reality is that what rich is not what people think it is. Because if I'm not mistaken, the actual poverty line or what people consider to be low income or middle income is like 13 to 14 grand per year. And middle class, if I'm not mistaken, is like in the 60s or 70s.
Right.
If I'm not
56,000, I think I think it's like 56 grand or something like that.
Absolutely. Which is still a really tough and hard way to go if you're trying to pay DTE and put a little bit of money on that water bill. You know what I mean? So,
but I think think about this for a second. Think about this just for a second. There are 3 classes in general, right? Let's even say there's 6 classes. There's lower class or poverty. There's upper lower class. There's middle class and upper middle class. There's upper class and stratosphere, right? If you divided it by 6 and said in this pool, Bill Gates is in this pool with $57 billion, and the middle is at 56,000. That shit that's not even mathematically logical. You're like, okay. So I don't think that middle class is $56,000. I know there are lots of people out there who make $56,000.
Well, it all depends on who you're talking to. It might, it all depends on who you're talking to. I mean, you can't compare, Bill Gates. I mean, Warren Buffett.
He's in the class, though. Okay, fine.
Yeah,
don't
that
put
might
them
be
in
stratosphere.
But don't put them in there. Get rid of stratosphere. Let's cap it off as something that we know. Like there was a time that we had a boss, you and I, Spud, who was making a strong 300 plus the fact that she had family money, right? So we talking about 400, a half a million. If you making 56,000, that's you ain't middle class is like, oh, I'm only a handful away from getting the upper class. No, you not. You know what I'm saying? If you make $100,000, you feel good where you at in your space. But at the end of the day, people with money are looking at you like, I mean, think of it like this. If you make
here comes the
100,000,
right wing stuff, Lamont. Here comes the right wing.
I smell it. I smell like barbecue ribs.
Here comes the right. Here comes the right.
All right, here you go. If you make $120,000 a year, and the boss that I'm talking about woke up the next morning and had to switch salaries with you, she'd kill herself.
Yeah, okay. All right. I feel you. Let's keep it on the sports. Let's talk about Colin Kaepernick. You know, Colin Kaepernick has, come out
Clown.
and he decided he
Clown.
was not going to stand up for the national anthem, and he decided he wasn't going to vote. Is this
Clown.
what the fuck, man? To each his own. If you don't want to vote, you ain't got to vote. But correct me if I'm wrong. If I don't want to vote, if I want for things in this world or this country to change, I got to be a part of the process, right? I got to be a part of what the political process or how things actually get changed.
Listen. Wait, listen. Let's be very careful when people talk about what happened to our ancestors. What happened to our ancestors is that they fought for us to have the right to vote. Now, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, because I will say this, there's no way in hell, me being a 40-something-year-old black man in America today, that I would not vote. You said
46 already, so you can go ahead and let
you
said 46.
It's already out there.
Yeah, it's already out there.
It's already out there.
But 20 years ago, I did buy into the mindset of, well, you know what? This was about having a right, and a right means either I can do it or I don't. It's about a choice. Because you can't, in other issues, things are about a right or a choice. Because I'm not saying that it's right, because it's totally wrong. But the young man, and I think that's also important, is that this guy is a young man who, like Maynard just talked about a minute ago, his financial status has his whole brain space in a different space than probably the average person who is in his age group. So he's not fully developed, with all due respect to the brother, in terms of his mindset and having an understanding of what that vote actually means. So you can't, I don't know if you could throw him under the bus, but I feel like he's like a pound cake that ain't ready. You got to leave him in the oven and let it keep cooking. Because he going to get it and the light's going to cut on.
Yes, he should have voted.
Should he have voted? Should he have voted, Lamont? Should he have voted? Lamont, should he have voted?
Yes. Yes, he should have voted. Yes.
Look, and I hear you, Lamont, that he ain't fully cooked yet, but this is the thing. And I'm all for him deciding to not stand for the pledge until he didn't vote. Like, I mean, dude, you got a voice. You making a protester, you have a voice. But we know that our most powerful voice, the two most powerful voices we have is our vote and our money. And
right.
I'll be curious because the three of us all live a lifestyle. We all enjoy the things, whether it's steaks and cigars and Veuve Clicquot. So we all spend our money the way we spend our money.
You must have definitely been talking about Lamont on that one. That one definitely did not identify. That did not identify with me. Steaks and Veuve Clicquot. That one went over my head.
I'm gonna let that fly. I'm gonna let it fly.
Yeah, Lamont, I think you popped a bottle or two with him before. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
Let's move on.
So what I'm saying
Country club life.
I'm sure that Colin Kaepernick is not foregoing buying the luxuries that he enjoys, whatever they may be. But he did forego using his voice to vote. And I'm just sorry, man. I was down for him. He got a right to not stand for the pledge. That's not my personal choice. But I don't have no issue with him doing that. I appreciate the fact that he got a voice.
That's still contradictory then. You saying that he has a choice to do that, but he doesn't have a choice to do this. And I say again, what he did was wrong. We're not saying that because, and I'm telling you from my own perspective, 15, maybe 20 years ago, I did not understand the value of me pressing that button. Sometimes people do it because it's just something that we do. Just like Maynard, you explained to me, someone who didn't grow up in Detroit, that we, as native Detroiters, we were in an environment where we were being fed like they feed people in jail. And I said, Maynard, what the hell are you talking about? Remember you told me your first experience going to a Coney Island.
Right.
And they gave you your food through a bulletproof glass. And until you told me that, until I was like damn near 40, I never looked at it like that because that's just the way I grew up in that space. So the same with this kid. He just grew up in a space where his mindset is, and it hasn't clicked yet. So you got to leave that oven on 350. Let him still keep taking some of these ass whoopings that he's taking right now on the field and off the field, and it'll click. It'll click. It'll all click for him.
I know.
Yeah, but will it be too late, though? I mean, will it be too late for, you know what I'm saying, to click? I mean, you know, I think
it's already too late.
The unfortunate part about, celebrities when they get themselves, or, let's just say athletes, people in the media, when they get themselves in this, type of situation and they make a stance, and when they go against it, the people who watch that situation, are especially the millennials, right? Or, the people who look up to Colin Kaepernick, when they don't do those things, I think it makes them feel like, oh shit, Colin Kaepernick ain't vote, and he's still protesting, football games. Fuck it, I'm gonna do the same thing. Allen Iverson, he ain't gotta, have no haircut. Fuck it, I'm gonna get braids too. Allen Iverson, he can come out and got some, tattoos. Fuck it, I'm gonna get tattoos as well. I think that, those things make people who look up to them feel like they can defy, a society just as much as they do. And to go back to, the economic point, shit, most of these guys who look up to him, they can't do it. You can't do the same things Colin Kaepernick does.
Well,
shit, he got the millions to do it.
Let me say this real quick. Talking to two cats who love Detroit, and I love Detroit as well as a third cat, it just makes my heart feel good that I got two Philly Sixer references in this, and I didn't even make them. I've been a lifelong 215er, baby. Allen Iverson, that's my dude. The Sixers, come on, baby. I love it. But I say this, Colin Kaepernick, Nick Cannon, also in that same boat. Talking Bow Wow, talking about they ain't voting. The problem I have with it, and you're right, Lamont, it is their choice. The problem is when you make your voice heard and you don't truly understand the power of your voice, which is a learning curve for a lot of individuals. I recognize that too. There's a learning curve. When you make your voice heard and you send certain messages, like Spud is saying, you influencing other people, but you don't have to live with the repercussions because you're going to get whatever his check is going to be, and you living good. When there's some people out here trying to make it on $35,000 or $40,000, and they need that Obamacare or they need that whatever it may be just to keep themselves healthy, you don't recognize the repercussions.
The same thing isn't going to happen. It's like when my grandmother told me when I was playing NWA as loud as I could in my neighborhood, screaming "fuck the police," and my grandmother was banging, outside hanging up clothes, and she's banging on my window, telling me to turn that shit down, and she had to come in and sit me down in my room and say, "Listen, boy, you cannot go out there and say fuck you to the police, because if you do, it's going to be a bigger problem than you just listening to this music." Now, I understand you like the NWA boys, and, they might can say fuck the police on the album. But listen, you can't go out there and say fuck the police because your ass is going to be in jail. Or they going to beat your ass up.
True.
Okay, well, with all due respect to Grandma, and I want to add to Grandma, because this is something that just happened less than maybe 24 hours ago. I'm watching the return of Dave Chappelle on the Saturday Night Live show, which I thought he did an incredible job. But it was really funny to me.
But it was great.
Yeah. It was really funny to me how NBC and SNL allowed him to say nigga 3 times on the radio, on TV. So with what Grandma said, and with the energy of Kaepernick and even Stephen A., is Dave Chappelle guilty of almost the same thing, of sending the wrong message on that platform? by him using that language on regular broadcast TV?
No. I say this about Chappelle.
That's bullshit.
We know that Dave Chappelle and his comedy has done a lot politically, and unfortunately, if you take him in like small bites, you might get the wrong impression. But people who typically follow Chappelle they watched all the Chappelle shows. They realized the point that he's always tried to make. They realized the lessons and the experiences, or the way he was shining his light on things. And so, I mean, in certain instances, a cat that comes out and says nigga for the sake of using the word nigga, that's whack. But if you use it in such a fashion that you really kind of, you send a message and you teach something, you got to give them some space and some latitude.
So with all due respect to we all everybody should have a wife and mama and sister. So it's okay if I call her a hoe. I just got to call her a certain kind of hoe, a certain kind of way. She's like a classy hoe. I mean, is it, you saying that makes it right?
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is...
But you said it was okay.
I'm saying...
Just like those non-African American producers of Saturday Night Live, and I got to be careful because I know a few people at the Peacock at NBC, they knew that he was going to say that, or they allowed that to happen. And I can almost guarantee you, if there were references of a derogatory nature to, the area of Israel, that it wouldn't have went down like that. There would have been some repercussions. Agreed or no?
I think that, I would have to, I haven't seen it yet, so I'm gonna tread lightly on my comment, but I think that, I think Dave Chappelle is one of those comedians that you kind of gotta let him do that, right? I think that, he's one of those people where it's like, he can get away with it. It's like Will Smith can kind of get away with some shit in the movie business that Tyrese can't. Denzel can kind of get away with some shit that, Derek Luke can't. That's a fresh analogy. But I mean, I think that, I think that Dave Chappelle is one of those comedians that's such a, I don't give a fuck about TV. I mean, the man walked away from $50 million.
But
he don't give a fuck about TV.
I think that if we're going to have the same standard towards Mr. Kaepernick, hopefully I'm pronouncing the name correctly, Colin, and Dave, it's the same thing. So we should not fault that man for not voting. If we're going to have
I don't
have a problem with him not.
Telling jokes is one thing.
I don't have a problem with him not voting, right? I don't have a problem with him not voting. I have a problem with him, protesting against the American system and then not voting. Because in the average mind, right, we all know that TV and these kids out here, and even, some of these adults, when we look at entertainers and we look at athletes, we feel like we put ourselves in their shoes sometimes. And I think that
Dave protested as well. Dave Chappelle said, I'm not going to put on a dress. He's like, I'm out. Y'all don't want to do that.
True.
I understand, but Dave Chappelle, but you're not talking about him you're not talking about him not saluting the flag and then not voting. You talking about him not putting on a dress for
But
business.
That was a form of protest. Spud said about protesting.
Right, but we talking about, hold on. We're really looking at this in the spectrum of the election. And certainly there are certain things that I'm not going to do. When I was at Radio 1, I said, I'm not going to sell certain products because I don't believe that we're supposed to do such and such and so forth. That's different from not voting and protesting America. I mean, protesting, putting on a dress, that's that man's personal right, and I understand that. He don't want to put on a dress. But, not voting, that's a collective thing. We all
Whoa. Wait a minute. Do you not understand? Wait. Do you not fucking understand?
The right came out a little bit on that one. The right came out a little bit on that one, man.
Yeah. Do you not understand?
I don't understand that.
No. Do you not understand that with Dave Chappelle saying nigger 3 times on TV, that is a subliminal okay to a whole new generation of people to say, yep, it's okay to say nigger. Well, we almost had that shit down on the ropes a little bit. You know what I mean? Yes, it's in the music. We can go through all of that.
So we don't say nigga no more?
Wait. I'm saying for it to be.
No, hold on. Before you go there, Lamont, who's on your iPhone, iPad? Who's in your playlist right now that ain't saying nigga?
But wait.
Katy Perry. That's that country club. Right. That's that country club.
Shit.
But man, wait. What you do in your house and what you do outside of your house is two different things. Am I correct?
Let me say this. Let me say this. I think that, and again, I might be far-fetched on this, right? I think that it is wrong if Dave Chappelle would have said, you know what? We should not fuck with TV at all because, you know what? I'm protesting TV because we can't say nigga on TV, right? We can't even do it. We can't, fuck them. I'm going against, Comedy Central. I'm going against NBC, SNL. We doing all that. We can't say nigga. I can't be myself, so fuck them all. And then he gets on TV and it's like, oh, I'm cool now. I can get on TV and I can say nigga. Nah, dog. You just told us not that we wasn't fucking with people. Now you telling us it's okay to watch TV? Fuck that. No, I think Colin Kaepernick should have went out and voted to be able to show people, look, I understand that this is the American way. And even though I don't agree with the American way, it's some bullshit. But at the same time, I understand that what I'm protesting for, the way for me to change it is for me to vote. And so with that, I'm going to vote. Other than that, you just fucked up everything you just talked about.
And you're not just voting for you. You vote. When I look around, I say, yo, I'm voting for my kids. I'm voting for my people's kids. I'm voting because I'm making a difference. That's my way to make a difference for more than just me. And for you to take your vote away from the collective, for you to take your vote away from the black folks or away from the white folks or away from the Democrats or away from the Republicans is to say, I don't care about nobody else.
Which he doesn't probably care about anybody else because, not that he don't care about anybody else. I don't think that, but again, I think it goes back to he's living in a bubble, he don't really see. And he's like, well, fuck it. Same thing with Nick Cannon, which I would expect more from Nick Cannon, because I think that Nick Cannon is out here more than Colin Kaepernick is. I mean,
it's incredible.
Back off Nick Cannon. He did the Spud in the Hood Awards, man. That's my man. I ain't mad at him. Anyways, all right, so let's move on. We got to talk about Lil Wayne and his comments on Black Lives Matter. And T.I., coming back at him. A lot of people said that T.I. was wrong for, putting Lil Wayne on blast, and he shouldn't have, went out on social media, that he should have picked up the phone and said, hey, dude, you messing up. And let me educate you on the Black, Lives Matter movement. Let me just begin because, Maynard, I know you a little bit on the right, and Lamont, I know you got that country club lifestyle. So, what Lil Wayne basically said was, listen, I'm a rich black man in America. I don't give a fuck about none of that, what they talk about Black Lives Matter. Listen, look at me, lady. I'm young, I'm black, and I'm rich. Tell me your thoughts on Lil Wayne.
I heard Lamont say that just a couple of days ago.
So y'all need to fall back. Listen, man, I'm going to say it again. I think that it's no coincidence that the producers at Nightline, which is, an ABC company, a Mickey Mouse company, a Walt Disney company, that they called Lil Wayne because they could have called Killer Mike. And Killer Mike would have gave him a different conversation. So I think, again, we love Lil Wayne. We love him for his music, for what he does in that particular space. But
be careful with your pronouns. I don't.
Well, some people, there's a certain segment that love him. But this is a kid that he drinks cough syrup and pop every day. You know what I mean? Soda, whatever you want to call it. So I'm not going to halfway believe, anything that this guy has to say. And look at him, but again, I'm outside of the demographic because you said I told the truth. I'm 46 years old, so I'm smart enough to know. Looking at this guy, he look like he take a bath every day. You know what I mean? So, again, is no slight or diss to the brother because he's an artist and he does his art, but he needs to stay in his lane.
But
and I think once he got on that interview, he got out of his lane.
And I saw Toya, who said that, Lil Wayne is in his own world. And you know what? He rightfully so, he could be. I mean, but I would think that, I mean, you've been around the music business since you were a kid, man. I would think that you have had enough interviews in your life to know when to shut up, when not to comment, or when to be like, you know what? I'm not going to answer that. He could have just went through it, you know what? I'm not going to answer that. He ain't got to know about what the fuck is going on, you know what I'm saying, with Black Lives Matter, but at least you got to be able to be professional enough to be able to not start a windstorm.
Well, this is the other part of it. It's not that he's been in the music industry and that he's done it for this long and that he's been in enough interviews. Nigga, he's watched enough TV to see.
Well, you don't know that. I mean, he on the road, he in the studio.
Oh, come on, man. He
may not be watching TV. He may not be watching TV.
Look, he knows. He knows. In fact, I bet you if you go back and look at the history of his music, that he's been talking about Black Lives Matter, maybe not saying the words Black Lives Matter, but over the history of his music, he's discussed the oppression and the oppressive ways. He's from the Ninth Ward, is he not? We know that this is an issue. If you watch Treme, if you know somebody from New Orleans, if you understand the music that they were putting out when it was just juvie and they were just coming up, you know that they've been talking about oppression. You know they've been talking about being victimized by police officers. You know they've been talking about a dirty and corrupt system against them. And that's New Orleans. I mean, that's one of the most corrupt. It has a history of being one of the most corrupt police forces in America.
Maynard, this is really simple. It's no need to doing a lot of dancing. You cannot teach calculus to somebody that don't understand basic math. Now, I'm not saying that he don't understand basic math because I know people that work with him very closely. Good brother, intelligent, and the whole shebang. But when it comes to certain things, this young man, he don't know basic math. So I shouldn't be talking to him about no goddamn calculus. Period. End of story.
But that interview was basic math. That interview was basic math. I mean, again, I think that, I think that, listen, man, Lil Wayne is been, and I understand he got a lot going on. He got $50 million out there he not getting right now. So I get it. You know what? He mad. But come on, man, and then you go and you fire your publicist and all this other stuff. No, man, you made a mistake, bro. You made a mistake. And it's all good. You should have been like, you know what? Hey, I'm sorry, but I am not abreast of everything that's going on with Black Lives Matter. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, at least I'm aware, but we all don't know what's going on in the world, so at least tell me, you know what? Hey.
Let's answer the question. Let's answer the question for Wayne then. What's the deal with Black Lives Matter? Let's answer that question.
So what was the exact question? Is it just what was going on with the organization?
Something to that effect. I mean, do you support?
I think the lady said, what are your thoughts, on Black Lives Matter? And he said, what? He didn't know. He had no idea. And then when she asked him again about Black Lives Matter, Lil Wayne basically said, listen, I'm young, I'm black, and I'm rich. I don't know nothing about that shit. And then T.I. came out and was like, dog, you cannot be on TV saying you don't know what's going on with Black Lives Matter, which I agree with T.I. Now, I don't know if I would have put my men on, on Instagram like, dog, you out here messing it up. But I think that, because they homies, like if it was one of y'all, I'm sure, what I'm saying, if y'all heard me on the radio, y'all would be like, hey, Spud, when you get off, you need to call me. Or, when you get a break, I need you to call me because right now you sounding very, very, very stupid. But you wouldn't be wouldn't call in. You wouldn't call in and be like,
I'm calling
listen,
in.
Boy, that's that right-wing shit. That's that right-wing shit right there.
That's it. You know what? We need to put him on the Blaze. We need to call the Blaze Network and let him get a slot over there. Okay, gotcha. I see where we're going.
Boo. Amy Holmes is fine, but other than that, boo.
you might need that Fox, that Fox News anchor chair.
Well, let me just say this. Like you said, T.I., Mr. Harris, who I think is a very intelligent guy, but what's very scary to me about when he did that, it makes me think about what Barack Obama said, I think in one of his an interview. I think it might have been with 60 Minutes or some other news agency. He said, sometimes everything is about clicks. And the reality is that we're talking about online clicks. Is that T.I. knew that when he put it on social media with the clicks that, that Lil Wayne was getting, that it would cause some additional, conversation online, which it turns into a click, which is about money. So, maybe T.I. had that in his brain space, because there are a lot of people that are out here that will do and say things just for clicks. You know what I mean? And to be inflammatory, just like the girl that Maynard's talking about. I don't remember her name, but the Glenn Beck girl, she says things because she wants you to go to her website and pay $1 to watch the news on their channel. You know what I mean? That's what this is about. So again, that might have been what Tip was doing, even though it was totally wrong. It goes against the code that he comes from. You know what I'm saying? Period. Let's get into the KKK. The KKK, they having a parade December 3rd. It's a lot of protesting going out there. I know it's going to be a lot, happening in regards to, people wanting to protest. I mean, that's a bomb waiting to happen. Should people protest the KKK rally, or should we just leave them alone, let them do their thing, let them have their time in the street, and keep it pushing? Are they going to have it on 7 Mile of Illinois? Nah, it ain't going to be on no 7 Mile. It ain't going to be in your neighborhood neither. I know you in a gated community. It ain't going to be in your neighborhood neither. You know what I mean? Because, if they on 7 Mile of Illinois, you might have to talk about it. But I think, the Ku Klux Klan, at the end of the day, it's a very historic, organization. We got to really be real that there are people who believe in that philosophy, ideology. And the reality is that they're out here trying to push their policy, man. So I think at the end of the day, it's just part of their overall plan. You got to let them do what they got to do, but understand what they're doing and not just look at it from a surface level and look at all of the other, underlining things that people that may be involved in that group and be able to combat it in that space. Because again, sometimes it ain't about going head to head with somebody. Sometimes it's about me sneaking in the middle of the night and crawling through your window and taking care of my business like that. So not that we're advocating that, but no, I'm not. Definitely not. Is this the rise of the white man again? Is this the rise of the white man? We're not going to see the KKK back out here, going crazy, are we?
Let me go back and speak to what Lamonte said, because I think Lamonte is on to something. First of all, why should we go and protest the Klan? When we show up and protest them, that's what the TV cameras want. And the problem is, no one can hear what anybody is saying. And I think if you give the Klan an opportunity to speak about whatever they want to talk about, we're going to be able to see just how crazy and how lunatics they are. And it's going to be an embarrassment to those people who are sympathetic to that portion. So I agree with Lamont. We should just stay. You know what? I got a limited amount of energy as a man now of 45 years of age. I got a limited amount of energy. I cannot invest it into them. That's A. B, is the white man on the rise? When did the white man fall? Where was that?
Yeah, but that's a little bit of different. The racism part in regards to, they ain't never, had that kind of control. But it's a difference in the Klan and difference, in what they did before. I mean, it's a lot of, make America white again. We're seeing a lot of, anti-Semitic signs out there. It's a lot going on. And we all know what happened before in the past. When it came to lynching, I don't want to see, people out here lynching. I feel like Donald Trump winning and him being the president-elect has given people like the Klan the open freedom to be able to say, oh, shit, I'm all good to do some shit now. I can go and, I can hang a motherfucker. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, but I think it was historically the Klan has also been, and again, I have to say this because I've never knowingly, directly dealt with something like that. But from what I understand, what I've read, the movies that I've seen, they've always done things from a covert perspective. They never have gone head to head. Now, does this Donald Trump energy give some of them a wave of, I'm gonna be a little bit more boastful about it? Yeah, but they're not gonna take that shit too far. You know what I mean?
Well, let's be real about one other part. Because we talking about the Klan, and that's a very specific thing. But there's a lot of, with Russ Parr, you remember Russ Parr used to be like, I'm not gay, I'm gay friendly. there's a lot of people who might not be in the Klan, but
not
they might
Russ
be
Parr,
Klan
but that
friendly.
was one of his bits because I don't want him to.
Right.
Not Russ Parr.
We love Russ.
Right. We ain't got no problem with Russ Parr.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is there are a lot of people out there who might not be Klan members, but when you say Klan, then you making it a very specific thing. But if you got to say it's not the Klan as much as it's just people who may be sympathetic to those views and may support the Klan without becoming members or whatever the case may be, because it's, we talking about the Klan, but there's also the Order and the neo-Nazis this and the 88 and all those other groups that are Klan related. But so we got to be careful not to miss that. And do they feel emboldened? Do they feel more are their nuts hanging a little bit more? I think so. I think they really are feeling themselves a little bit more. But I know one thing, like Lamont essentially alluded to, as much as they feel that way, they ain't going to 7 Mile in Illinois.
They may not be going to 7 Mile in Illinois. They may not be going to North Philly, but they're going to Charlotte. I mean, they're going to North Carolina, and that's a black city. So, but here's my point. My point is here's my thought and my question. I'm just curious to know, with them being able to be a little bit more free, with that. I mean, we see the police brutality. We see, how they're getting away with things. I am, curious and concerned that there may be some ways that we start to see some things happen that may, they may be able to get away with this. They may not be. Now, I don't think niggas is going to be able, you know what I'm saying? If the Klan is on my front porch, one of us got to go and it ain't going to be me. That's all I'm saying. I got that, I got that. But I'm just asking, is this energy that Donald Trump, I don't want to say Donald Trump is giving them, but, with Donald Trump winning, is this energy giving them the freedom to be able to say, oh, we got away with the parade. Let me see what I can get away with next.
I don't think they ever lost that ability. I think they've always had that. And they've been, what we didn't know is that no one was covering it, but there've been Klan rallies all the time. And parades all the time. They ain't like all of a sudden, if you meet somebody tomorrow who was in the Klan, he ain't member number 3. He might be member number 4,056. So, don't make no mistake. The Klan ain't went nowhere. They've been there.
And you know what? I also want to say, with all due respect, how they say when somebody says they're going to say something disrespectful, to all my people that, that may be listening, that live in Charlotte, or even some of my other homies that live in Atlanta. I think sometimes we forget that Atlanta is in Georgia. I think sometimes we forget that Charlotte is in North Carolina. So once you leave that little area of Charlotte that may be progressive, there's a whole big old state of non-progressive people who think, even in the state of Georgia where my own father lives, in Southeast Georgia, there are little towns and counties that I don't think that they know that it's 2016. You know what I mean? Some of those places are still living in the maybe mid-70s, late 60s, the way that they operate, on a whole bunch of different levels. Their towns, again, in that state, they don't even have a post office. They have 3 or 4 towns that share one post office.
Now, see, Lamont, this is the thing, though, we got to be careful about, too, as intellectuals and as elites, right? Because we are educated and blah, 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 whatever the case may be. Hold on, Lamont.
You throwing the words around.
You said something very elitist. You said, well, that town is in that shit. It's in North Carolina. It's in Georgia. That's right. to say that it's not Queens. That it's not Boston. Yo, I remember when I was a kid. I'm gonna tell you, in the 70s, Boston was a hotbed of racial tension, and the Klan is big in Boston. The Klan's headquarters, and to this day, don't make no mistake, to this day, that's happening in parts of Jersey. You cannot mess around between where you live in New Jersey and Atlantic City. Make a mistake and get off the expressway and be stuck on the side of the road. But listen, but listen what I'm saying. Not just
and for
those
any
areas.
Klan members, Lamont doesn't really live in New Jersey. He just kind of,
Right. I live in Chelsea.
He just kind of is, right?
23rd Street. Right. But to further what you're saying, you're right. Even growing up in Detroit, what I was saying was there's a difference between being in Detroit in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s and being in Michigan. Because, again, you have a place like Howe where there's if I'm not mistaken, a Ku Klux Klan museum that you can go in, pay your little $4-5, and go to the museum for the Ku Klux Klan. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, because Terry Nichols and the boy Timothy McVeigh, they hatched their plan to bomb the Oklahoma City court building out of Michigan.
Right. So what I'm saying is there's a difference between being in Detroit to where I tell everybody when I grew up, everything was, we didn't call it African American then in the 70s. Everything was black. My doctor, my policeman, my city council person, my grocery person, everybody was black. So once you left that bubble of the city of Detroit and you start to go into those other areas, because Michigan is a very big place. You know what I'm saying? The majority of Michigan, if I'm not mistaken, is and was farmland. So Detroit was one of the places that was a little bit more progressive in that particular time. So again, I'm with you, but I'm just saying when people talk about Atlanta of it being this wonderful place, which it is, it's a very nice place. But as soon as you step out of Fulton County, you in Georgia, which is apples and oranges, baby.
As soon as you get out of Wayne and Oakland County,
you in Michigan.
You're right. And
exactly.
As soon as right. And so and what I was saying is this. I was watching Nina Turner from Indiana or Ohio. I can't remember where the sister's from, on MSNBC this morning. And she was saying, look, we have, as Democrats, have been calling parts of the country, we call them flyover country. We don't pay attention to that. And we don't think about like Indiana, which is the home of the Klan. All right. We don't pay attention to, big swaths of states. And it's very, in fact, elitist to think that because we are from Philadelphia or New York or Detroit or Los Angeles, that we don't have those same problems that they are dealing with in Atlanta and Charlotte. Because, like you said, you make a mistake and get just a little bit outside of Albany in New York, and it's a different climate. You make a mistake and be in Rhode Island or be in parts of, like you said, parts of Michigan, and it's a whole different climate. It ain't Detroit. Ain't gonna be no jeans and Moet. Ain't gonna be no, shots.
Jeans and Moet.
Right.
That's funny. All right, that's my man. Anyways, all right. So let's wrap up. Today with. I didn't get the opportunity to see, Saturday Night Live. I have it on my DVR. Lamonte, you say you saw it. I mean, I'm curious to know about, Tribe, because I know Tribe Called Quest was on there. What was the vibe, the performance like without Phife?
Now, and this is personal. I think it was a very good energy. It was a very good platform for them to showcase their new album, which I think was amazing. The only thing that I wanted is that, I could have took a little 2 to 3 minute montage of some of those old records to some of those original Tribe, records that they could have tried to smash in, but they did their traditional 2 sets. I think they did, again, a wonderful job of even highlighting, Phife, on his verse. They had like a little pulled down image of him. I mean, it was mad cool. So, utter respect. It was something that I read really quickly that I would love to add by a guy named Jason Jeter, who, if he came from the whole T.I. camp or whatever, and he wrote something on Instagram.
He's not T.I.'s manager anymore? Wasn't he T.I.'s manager?
I'm not sure. I don't know how that worked out, but I know he was affiliated with T.I. But I know he's doing a lot of other stuff, and he's also responsible for this new kid, called D1, which we could talk about him later, which I think he's an amazing kid. But anyway, he said something last night about how, this album was amazing. And, even though it took 18 years for it to come to marketplace, that's where we should be now in music. Of sometime, like I said earlier, we got to leave that cake in the oven a little bit longer. And I think, what's going to happen for years to come, not only because Phife passed, but because the music is so good and that they didn't rush it and that they took their time, to bring it to the marketplace and where they're displaying their art now. Shit is amazing, man. It's just amazing.
Let's talk about Jeezy. Chapter Die 3. Is Jeezy back? I saw Jeezy on The Breakfast Club, and he was saying, what was the last album? Church in the Streets. That he was trying to, say some things to wake up America, basically, or wake up, our people, and niggas wasn't even feeling it. They just was like, fuck that, Jeezy, bring back the Trap or Die, so now he's back with the Trap or Die. All I'm hearing is, it's all there, Go gold mine. You know, I'm hearing Jeezy is back. You know, I'm sure he stays booked in Detroit, but I'm sure he's booked back. You know, is Jeezy back with the Trap or Die 3 or what?
I hear Maynard whistling, and I'm just gonna say, I have the album. I supported the album, but you know, it's hard. You know, rest his soul. You know, it's hard for Michael Jackson to recreate Thriller. You know, sometimes we just have to understand that, you know, we're going to create this big, massive piece of art. And Trap or Die was that for Jeezy. Is this a good record? Absolutely. But does it live up to Trap or Die? Nah. I think that ship has sailed.
Let me say this. You know, Spud, when you put together today's show, you said, I want y'all to, you know, check in on these 4 artists. And I went back and listened to everything that was in. There were four groups, I should say, or four albums: Trap or Die, the Tribe joint, the Common joint, and Mary. And I think it's unfair to put Trap or Die in that category, because when you listen to that Common album,
here comes the right again.
No, when you listen to that Common album, that thing is so. The Common album is like, yo, it's amazing, and it made me feel something. And then, hold on, and the Tribe album was like, oh my God, the music was phenomenal. And when I got to Trap or Die, I was just like, I mean, first of all, can you come off of the reverb just a little bit? Can you have some content? And I just wasn't feeling it.
But wait a minute, Maynard, hold on. Now, you know, you cannot. I understand what you're saying. I mean, and I get it, you know, but we also got to understand that there's still a population out there. There's still people out there who still go to Jeans and Moet.
Hello.
They still going out there going to Jeans and Moet. And you know what? Those same people, wait a minute, hold on. Those same people who go to Jeans and Moet also go vote. Those people who go to Jeans and Moet still like Common. They like a little Mary. They like a little. Now, don't get it out. Listen, I like Tribe. I think I'm. Hey man, I watched the Tribe documentary. You know, I appreciate Michael Rappaport for, you know, bringing it out. You know, I wish that, you know what I'm saying, Phife and, you know, and Q-Tip would have, you know, got it together before he went to the next life. You know, but and we ain't got to Mary yet. You know, and I like Common. You know, and. But I also like me some, you know, some nigga shit every now and then, man. I like me some gold. Sometimes, Maynard, I know you on the right side, but sometimes, man, we gotta say it's all there. Sometimes we gotta put it's all there in our car. Sometimes we gotta let them know.
I didn't feel like there was. I felt like every track had. Now, first of all, let me. You know what? First, let me back up. I'm from where I'm from. So I'm predisposed to be a hip hop fan. Period. End of story. I'm not a rap fan. I'm a hip hop fan, and I believe in hip hop, and I love hip hop. So I'm not a trap music person in general. I do recognize that Jeezy had this moment, and I'm looking at it now, and I feel like he's behind the moment and not in front of the moment. I feel like trap artists right now are leading, and he's following. And this album, he put the question out there for the third time: Trap or Die? I say die.
I don't know, man. I think that Future, you know, had it on lock last year. I don't know. I think Jeezy back, man. Jeezy said, "Listen, I'm coming back for my throne." Now, again, if you didn't get the opportunity to go and see him on the Breakfast Club, watch him on the Breakfast Club, because I thought that was a powerful interview and some of the things that he was trying to do, and unfortunately, the things that his generation and his fan base want to hear from him, because it's a shame that he can't switch up the music and still try to educate, that he got to go back to a gold mine or It's All There and go get a bankroll fresh just to get the attention of his fan base. That's fucked up. But it's all there, man. I'm going with Jeezy on that one. Anyway, let's go to Mary J. Blige. Lamonte, I'm gonna let you start. You work with Mary J. Blige. You know Mary. Mary's the queen of the drama. My man Kendu is like, listen, Mary, I need $100,000 a month. Listen, you done messed up my lifestyle. You know what, Mary? Hey, I gotta get this bread, and I know it's hard for Mary to come back from that Burger King commercial, but the thick of it all.
Here's the deal. And from a morality standpoint is one thing, but also from a legal standpoint, that could be something totally different. Now, I don't really know if they were married in the state of New Jersey or in New York. I'm not sure because, of course, the laws are different. But at the end of the day, she got to give him a check. You know what I mean? I think, but it's about how much of a check does she have to give because, whether we want to admit it or not, and I know we don't like it, but, he did bring something to the household. You know what I'm saying? There were some things that he was and that he did do. Now, is he probably reaching with all of that drama about $100,000 every month? Absolutely. But you got to shoot for the moon and to get those stars. And then musically, I just think Mary, what we have a problem in urban music is elevating our artists. Mary J. Blige.
Like we can't go to the CMAs without Maynard. You know what I'm saying? Having a problem with it.
Exactly. Right. So if Maynard hears that Mary's doing a show at Carnegie Hall with a full, orchestra, Maynard's gonna kind of shit on her like, well, this ain't my life and this ain't this and boom, bam, boom.
No, I would love that. I would love that.
I think that's that right coming out though. That might be a little bit more on his right side.
But that's my thing with Mary is that, I also had the same problem with Prince is that I felt like, and I could be guilty of it. It was a certain kind of Prince that I wanted. I want a certain kind of Mary. I want my generation of the years that I worked at MCA and even when I was at Uptown is that I want that what's the 411 and that My Life Mary. Those are the Marys that I love and I knew and I grew up with. So this new Mary, this Mary that has to deal with this dude that wants to get $100,000 every month is still a different Mary. So as long as Mary's able to balance the two, service me and others like me that want that old Mary and still bring new people to the party, I think Mary will be fine. But Mary gonna have to give up a check. I know you don't want to hear it, that people don't like it, but Mary got to give up a check. Because as soon as you get married to someone, you just got to realize and understand you are allowing the government, the court, whomever, to get in your business. And that's how it just works.
But Kendu, does he look a little whack? I know I'm saying, we going on a little bit longer than what we're supposed to, but does Kendu look like, come on, bro, like my man,
course,
you look a little whack going against
Of course
Mary.
He looks whack, but there's a difference between going to what they call private banking when you go to the bank. See, when you got a whole lot of money, and I'm just telling you, it's something that I heard about, that you don't go stand in a line, at the teller and do X, Y, and Z. They take you in the back because you got a lot of paper to do whatever it is you need to do, and or the banker will come to your house and say, okay,
Lamont, it's okay for you to tell people that you go to the back. It's all right. I mean, people need to know it's okay for you to tell people that you skipped the line at the bank. It's all right. We gotta let the listeners know that you're not no average dude. You're not no average guy. You're not no average guy.
Get to the real with Lamont. He met with Dr. Ben Carson the other day.
right.
He got the country club life, and he got the private banking. Come on, and y'all said all right with? Come on, man.
So Kendu,
is your financial dude Mitt Romney?
No comment.
No comment on that one. Nah. Lamont ain't a part of that 47%. Come on, man.
No. but at the end of the day, that's what he's trying to get. And unfortunately, we still got to remember, fellas, is that there's some people in this world that will do whatever it is that they need to do in order to, to get a financial gain out of it. And mentally, he's probably like, okay, I'll take this hit out, amongst, everyone else to make sure that I can go in the back and go to private banking. I mean, that's what he's doing.
No doubt.
That's what all this is about.
What do you think about Mary? You think Mary's back? I like the old thick of it, the drama Mary. Sorry, I like it. Somebody got to take Keisha Cole's place. Somebody got to take Keisha Cole's place.
I love Mary. I always have loved Mary, and Mary is one of the artists in my lifetime that I bought every album that she has based on the previous album. And there's been some that have not been so hot, but
What's that Mary J. I'm sorry to cut you off. What's that Mary J. Blige Christmas damn song you always tell me about every damn day?
Oh, Christmas in the City. That her and Angie Martinez. Nigga, I love that shit. That's my shit. That's my shit.
Yo, Maynard, that shit's on fire, G. That's on fire.
Talk to him. Christmas in the City. Oh, that's my
hit.
hit.
Joint. That's it.
Feliz Navidad. Oh, shoot.
All right, I'm sorry. I digressed on that one. My bad.
But yeah, I feel like Mary gets a pass with me. I feel like she's one of those artists. I gotta collect her because how I feel about her and how I think that we will remember her when she retires or is not putting out albums. I just want to have a complete box set of her forever and ever and always. Amen. Except I can't keep up with all the damn remixes. I can't. I hate people that give me a whole other remix. Like, damn, I can't afford to buy all these damn CDs. But that's a whole other thing. My money's is low, yo.
What's up with, you know what I'm saying? Y'all feeling Black in America with Common?
Black in America's killer. It's fire, homie. It's fire.
I agree. Common is dope. Common is, the good thing about Common is that Common, you're not going to see Common come out with something that you like, wait, what? I think, wait a minute, Universal Mind Control was probably a little bit to the left for him, but, I think he's riding that wave of, the Oscar win and, Glory and Selma and all that other stuff. I'm a thumbs up, my man Common. I like Common. Lamont?
Sometimes my mama said, when you don't have nothing nice to say, you should be quiet.
That album is killer.
Yeah, but here's what I will say about that brother, and I mean this in the most sincere way because actually I have a long history indirectly with him because actually my college roommate, that was the first artist that back in the 80s. When he was Common Sense. And I'll never forget, the long road that brother traveled to get to where he is now. And I personally feel like he should transition 100% to TV and film. I think he should stop with the music thing because it's cool. I mean, I'm not getting it. Watch it. It's not on my title playlist. I'm not going to iTunes clicking the play button. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, you got a record. All right, brother. When's your next movie coming out? How about that? Yes.
Yeah, hold on. Let me say this about the Common album. I say this, I'm scared to say this, but I'm going to say it. In my life, the people who have lyrically been the greatest of greatest persons are Bob Marley and Marvin Gaye. And this album, Common did for me what Bob Marley has done for me, which he's given me an album that made me think, an album that's got me angry, got me hopeful, and made me want to make love. All on one album.
Well, I think the question is which album you're talking about when it comes to Bob Marley.
I should have been like...
That's all Bob Marley albums. I mean, Turn Your Lights Down Low to I Shot the Sheriff. I mean, this man was a rebel and a lover and a thinker and a philosopher.
I like Common.
Drinking,
I like his album. Right, yeah, because I don't know about that.
Are you drinking, Maynard?
I don't know.
Are you drinking?
Come on. Are you saying that? Are you saying that the Bob?
I am not even. I don't even understand how you could even put Common and Bob Marley and Marvin Gaye and even Marvin Gaye.
I'm saying this album. This Black in America album made me. He had songs that were genuine and tender love joints. He had joints that made you want to be a man, made you want to stand up as a black man. And he had songs on there that made you angry, and songs on there that made you be hopeful. You tell me that didn't happen? You can go through the titles and name them.
I don't know if it's on the level of a Bob Marley or a Marvin Gaye. Okay, I mean, let's you probably could have reached to, you probably could have said, you know what, this is on the level of a Kanye. Even as a stretch on a Jay-Z. But not on no Bob Marley or no Marvin Gaye. And even on, I think it's a good album. I think Common's dope. I'm not even saying that, Common is even on the comparison to Jay-Z. I ain't even putting him in that. I don't know about that one now. I'm gonna give Common his props. But I ain't
no
doubt.
No. Good, very good, brother. But I'll say again, what he's able to do is what a lot of recording artists want to do, and I think he should understand that blessing and just go ahead and elevate and continue to do what he's doing in that movie and TV space.
Joy and Peace, Home, Love Star, Red Wine, Pyramids. The day women took over, little Chicago boy.
Yeah, definitely not compared to I Shot the Sheriff or Sexual Healing or Let's Get It On, or none of those. Yeah, I'm gonna pass on that one. I don't,
Okay,
that was one too many red wines. One too many red wines. One too many red wines. let's end the show with, you know what I'm saying, takeaway. So, Lamont, let's start with you. What is your takeaway from this week, my man?
Well, I mean, we got Donald Trump as the president. You know, he's not a real president. You know, they always say that there's always somebody behind the man that is the man. So I think everybody should just kind of pay attention, whether it be from a local level, you know, even to the federal level on the moves that these guys are making. And we all do have a voice. We just have to figure out how we exercise that and implement that to make sure that our voice is being heard. So I think with that being said, we got a new Tribe album that's on your local streaming services and in some sort of record stores. So make sure you go support, you know what I'm saying, those brothers.
Maynard, you could have said that the Tribe was on the level of, you know what I'm saying, the Marvin Gaye and Barbie Hill. We probably could get a little bit more.
Can you let Lamont finish? Can you let Lamont finish?
Why
you cut Lamont off?
Yeah. You know, so again, I think, you know, after this week, you know, it took me a couple of days to kind of lick my wounds and try to understand what this means. But again, sometimes we just got to tighten up a little bit. You know, we can't, you know, maybe we got to fly coach instead of business. You know, maybe it's one less steak we got to put on the table, you know what I mean? Or one less bottle to pop in the club because we all going to have to recalibrate, man. But I think we'll be okay. That's my takeaway for the week.
You know, it's not lost on me that 2 weeks back, maybe it was, in this entire time, let's just say basically from like Halloween backwards to Labor Day, that black colleges around the country are going to enjoy homecoming or classics, etc. And we get all these black people together. They come in by the droves and they black party and they tailgate and they then turn around and white party and day party. What we need to do is political party. And we need to get those people that are going to come in. I'm in Norfolk and my alma mater is Norfolk State. And people came in from New York and California and Detroit and Florida, etc. And we spent that entire time with all that great intellectual capital, and nobody brought up the fact that there was an election in a week and some change. So and then if we were doing that, if we were spending time together at homecoming every year, not just election years or not just years where we think there's a big election of some sort, but we do that every year, then those people then go back to their neighborhoods and their communities and spend time influencing other people who may not have had the benefit of that data. And if there's my one black college and there's 107 of them, you can just go ahead and multiply that by the attendance. And so what I say is I agree. I had to lick my wounds a little bit and understand that, you know, this man with orange cotton candy hair is now the president. I don't like it. I don't like it. And I'm not happy with it, but he's the president. And I'm going to say to folks, you know, don't be mad, be prepared. Don't be mad, be prepared.
Yeah, I echo that. You know, it is time for preparation. I don't want us to, you know, get into a situation where, you know, another 2008, 2009, 2010 comes and we're not prepared for what's going to, you know, happen. I was listening to a talk show the other day and the financial advisors was on. Listen, people, a recession is coming. It's not a matter of if, it is a matter of when. So for my takeaway from this week, save your money. Save your money. Go out and get Lil Dicky's song. Save that money and put it on repeat because it's important for us to be able to save our money, make sure we got money in the mattress. And then secondly, I think it is time for us to be able to wake up that it's extremely important for economic empowerment. It is time for us to empower ourselves. It's time for us to be educated on what the GOP has to offer so that way we're not going into things blind. And we also got to start to put money in for our own selves and for our own communities so that way we have our own leverage and our own power. That's my takeaway for the week. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you so very much for tuning in to our very first episode of Three Black Guys with a Mic. We want you to do us a favor. Share it with everybody on social media. Look for new episodes every Tuesday. Make sure that you rate us on iTunes. Rate us on SoundCloud. Share it on SoundCloud. Make sure that you give us some reviews. Give us some feedback. We want to know exactly, you know, how you feel about the show, especially our very first episode. Also, if there's anything you think we should talk about, let us know. Be on the lookout for the website coming soon. And look for us again next Tuesday for another episode of Three Black Guys with a Mic.